Today, I feel like talking politics. As we know, the election is going to be coming up in 2024. We all wondering, inquiring minds want to know, is black people going to vote for Biden or a Democrat, or is they going to vote for a Republican, or they're going to try something new? The reason why I want to talk about politics today because I wanted to talk about something that a lot of us don't talk about, and especially people that talk politics, because they're not going to really tell you this because it's not really much to know because there's no information out there. There's no policies, there's nothing been put down on paper. It is called a unwritten law. If anybody knows anything about an unwritten law, that means that it's talked about and discussed but never wrote down. And if anybody understands where it first begun was in 1877, which was deal, the Reconstruction deal that happened between the Democrats and the Republicans, as a way to reconcile with each other after the bloody Civil War. And what that brought about was, a little bit of opportunity here, a little opportunity there. But what it also brought was the unwritten rule that both parties would make sure, under any circumstances, that black people will never rise above the levels where they are comfortable with them being at. And they made this deal, and I know that when they made this Reconstruction deal, that the part of the deal was to make sure that the African American Negro never rise to a certain level. So therefore, this deal that they made was between the Democrats and the Republicans. This is why, right to this day, we are having so much difficulty trying to figure out and comb through politics as of late. And that is because it's kind of like, who do you trust, right? It's like, do you trust the Democrats or do you trust the Republicans? But little, but not known to most black people, they both have made a unwritten rule and a unwritten deal, to make sure that you never rise above a certain level. So when we hit that ceiling and we say we want to go further, and they're saying, no, you have to stay right here. This is why sometimes we're baffled by the fact that even though we vote Democrat, when it comes to crunch time and really trying to get something done, they seem to flake out on us. And the reason being is they made that deal in 1877. And if you don't know nothing about it, go and Google the Great Deal of 1877 and you'll understand what I'm saying. They know that they have a unwritten contract to make sure that you don't reach a certain level. So when we hit that ceiling, that's why we always been, if you think about it, for the last, almost 100 years, we've been stagnant. We've been in the same position. We really haven't prospered much. It's like we get to a certain level, and that is as far as they're going to let us go. And that's because that deal was made between the Democrats and the Republicans, that they would make sure that you would never rival white economics. See, when Black Wall Street was developing and the prosperity of black people was amazing, to a lot of Americans at that time, Democrats and Republicans seen this as a problem. And as you notice, when they talk about what was done to Black Wall Street, they never ever said it was a bunch of Democrats or a bunch of Republicans. To be truthful, they were both. Those people that was running through there, murdering and killing and assassinating innocent people for being prosperous. Sorry to tell you this, but they was of both parties. Okay, they were American that day. That day, they were just American. They did not see each other as different. You know, on that day, they had one common goal, and that was to destroy the prosperity that was happening before them. See, Black Wall Street scared America because what it basically said was if given the chance, if black people were given a equal chance, um, they could rival white economics in America. They could actually become our competition, and they wasn't going to have that. And they said, well, what drives the Afro American to thinking in such a prosperous way? And they come to understand at that time it was because Republicans are mostly known for businessmen, right? Republicans are mostly known for building corporations. You know what I'm saying? They're mostly known for, you know what I'm saying, being business driven, very, you know what I'm saying, self sufficient. They really don't believe in social programs and stuff like that. They believed in doing it themselves, you know, obtaining wealth um, by trade and commerce, stock market, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. They more into that. You will see more Republicans or conservatives at the stock market than you will see liberals. That wasn't really their thing. You know what I'm saying? So us being at that time having conservative thinking, as you know, black people started off as Republicans, and they were Republicans at one time. Um, so it was that thinking. They come to realize that if these black people continue to think in a conservative manner, they will continue to build Wall Street after Wall Street after Wall Street. So we have to figure a way out. And this is when the three card Molly came in. This is when the deal came in. At that time, it was the Republicans of the North that was running the car industries. You know what I'm saying? Like Detroit, you know what I'm saying? New York, Michigan. Um, I mean, not Michigan. What is the other place where they had a large industry? And I think it was Richmond. I'm not sure. Richmond, California. But I know it was in California. So on the north, in the north hemisphere, the Republicans was running the majority of the industries, which hired a lot of black people at that time. So they understood that the only way they could stop this prosperity is by eliminating the jobs, basically. And that's when you start seeing all of these, you know what I'm saying, car dealerships and different manufacturers, you know, start to move overseas. So they started to contract with Taiwan and China. That's why a lot of your stuff is made in China. It wasn't because they wanted to just go get cheap labor. They wanted to take black people out of a very strong labor position too. So they said we would rather go over here and give it, you know, these jobs and opportunities to the foreigners. You know what I'm saying? Than to give them, you know what I'm saying, to the black community. Because if we continue down this road, eventually black economics and the black economy will rival our economy. And there's no way in the world that we can allow that to happen. So they sent all the jobs overseas. And this is when black people, which were conservatives, first started to enter into the welfare system. You know what I'm saying? At first, they didn't need welfare because they had jobs. So common sense to tell you that they didn't have to go in there because they didn't have no reason to get on welfare at that time. But after they sent all the jobs away because they were wanting to cripple the black economic system, you know what I'm saying? Democrat and Republicans said, okay, then, well, we're going to snatch these jobs off one another. You, the Republicans, take all of these jobs from them. And see, once black people started realizing that the Republicans no longer had their back or their best interests at heart, they said, well, we are going to become, liberals now because at least the liberals were offering something. You know what I'm saying? The Republicans wasn't offering nothing no more because it was part of the plan. It was part of the bait and switch, right? So we left the Republicans and went to the liberals because the liberals had, what I'm saying, the social programs. So we came into social programs by default, not by choice, by default. Because what else were we going to be able to do? The jobs were gone, right? You know what I'm saying? Which was a clever way to get us out of conservative thinking and to basically cripple, what I'm saying, black economics in this country. So even though we are, Democrats and we vote Democrats because of the rejection of the Republicans conservative, you know what I'm saying, which is, I believe, right to this day, the reason why they continue to openly reject us because they just don't want us to become conservatives again. Because they knew what happened when we had conservative thinking, when we were thinking in the mindset of do for thyself, you know what I'm saying, self sufficiency, um, going out and getting a job and working hard and building your own businesses, building your own bus system, building your own neighborhoods, building your own restaurants, building your own taxi service, as we were doing when we were under a conservative thinking. We were able to do everything that they were doing and probably even better, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? So they were amazed and they said this can no longer happen. And this is the reason why the great deal or the unwritten agreement happened between the Republicans and the Democrats. This is the reason why you can easily look at both sides of the aisle, for the last 40 years, and you can see the damage that has been done to us by the Republicans. And you can also see the damage that has been done to us to the Democrats. So basically, they both have been doing damage to the black community. So what we are stuck in catch 22 position, we have to argue amongst each other on who did it, who did the most damage. So now we're saying, okay, all right, all right, all right, all right. You know what I'm saying? Who is the biggest devil, right? Where we wanna, because we're in the catch 22, right? We either vote for the lesser of the evils. So if you, that's what they say, you know what I'm saying? The lesser of the evil, right? So now we're stuck in a position where we say, okay, well, they got us in the catch 22. The Republicans turned their back on us, but the liberals have the social program, so we need something in order to have something. You know what I'm saying? They just basically put us in a very tight situation. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I wanted to talk about this, because a lot of people really don't talk about that unwritten deal that happened in 1877. They really don't talk about it that much, especially in politics. And like, I get it. I understand why black people are trying to be liberals because at least they're offering you something. You know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to let you know that um, they're not your friends. This is just a setup. Okay, this is just to keep you from never being a threat to the white economy. This is what this is all about. Because if they wouldn't have done what they did, if they wouldn't have did Reconstruction, if they wouldn't have made that deal in 1877, if they wouldn't have destroyed Black Wall Street, black economics would be rivaling white economics right now. Like they would have a problem right now. Like we would be just as rich and wealthy as the Bill Gates, you know what I'm saying, of America. You know what I'm saying? We would be just as rich as the Elon Musk in America. And the last thing they can have or wanted to see was a black Bill Gates or a black Elon Musk. So the only way to turn that around and to keep that from happening was to pull the rug off from under us as conservatives. You know what I'm saying? Convert us into Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Because we know under the Democratic Party, we're never gonna rival the white economy because they doesn't teach us that. They don't teach us to do for thyself. They teach us reliability, to rely on the government. But they all working together, so don't get it twisted. Don't say, well, the Democrats are like this and the Republicans are. No, they're one team because they made that deal to make sure that we never ever rise above, the ceiling. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reason why one white man has more wealth than 46 million black people in America. That wouldn't have never happened if they wouldn't have destroyed black conservatism and Black Wall Street. Right now, to this day, we would be rivaling the white economy. And they both seen that as a threat. Both parties seen what we were able to do, and it scared them. Black Wall Street scared America. Do you understand that? They scared the heck out of America. And that's why America came up with the ultimate plan to derail black economics. And this is the reason why they sticking to the strip. They're not going to change the strip. The Republicans is not going to repeal to black people because they don't want you to become conservative. Because if you become conservatives, then you'll let go all of the social programs and you'll become independent thinking again, and you'll end up building another Wall Street. So thank you for listening. Like, subscribe. And as always, one love.